manju shiri ye, nama su shiri ye, nama o dhamma shiri so ha. O namo manju shiri ye, nama su shiri ye, nama o dhamma shiri so ha. O namo manju shiri ye, nama su shiri ye, nama o dhamma shiri so ha. Soge chuna lai chancho bado dani gyabsu chi dagi chunyen gibe sona ge chola benche sange choba shu chi beki choshi me to chan shira li chi ni de genpa di sange shindo me te viwa yi roge nanda shin la chupa shu ye da yu ru rana me da la ka ni ya da ya mi.
Unjuge da hara sanga da ishta binana ge chedin da deba tidi kantiti shu e indi na ga thera da ngorang de chai lama yimbala ta timba tu bi ma sata e tango de choji jawa ang chai lama chu bi choji jawa se da chama samu shu sanga ji e ele khanda di chu yese na ma so so na wiye uya ngo be kala du se na ma na timba ga ji ta ye pa tan bi kala Tachiwa Sera Tomame and Sabi Diba Vatapa, nothing she pat, you know, Nigachi, but that Dishi Yenison, Nigan is Sonchi, good sesh,
So we do breathing meditation. So please sit according to 7 meditative posture of Virtuous. Then we visualize in the sky in front of us. There sits Buddha Shakyamuni. His nature is no different from our Guru. And he is surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. Then from them, light rays radiate. 5 colors light rays radiate together with nectar. Flows up from their bodies and then enter our bodies together with our in-breath. Then when we breathe out and we visualize these 5 color light nectars fill up our body. And when we breathe out, we visualize all our negativities, obscuration, sickness, and etc. comes out from our body together with the out breath in the form of black smoke or liquid and vanish in the space. So we do the first 3 times of breathing. Start with our right nostril. Breathe in with our right nostril. And breathe out with our left nostril for 3 times. And then we breathe in with our left nostril. And breathe out with our right nostril for 3 times. And then we breathe in and out with both nostrils 3 times.
So the Jilla, Dumajina is in the town, she dug it, Sandy, Mana, she cut into Machada, Mama Jiba Chicha, Mashiba, Janji Machaba, that Jinji Mandela, they want Deja, Lando, Kuchi, Dume, Bahi, no one, the Deka, Tichi, Jinji Mandela, Dichi, pieces of the Channel, Chepa Chichi, Chepa Shaw, Channel.
So all sentient beings who are in the state of sufferings, they have been our mothers before in previous lives, in past lives. So they have been our mothers since beginningless time, and their kindness to us was exactly the same as the mothers of this life. So numberless mother sentient beings want happiness and do not want sufferings. However, not knowing the object of adoptions and abandonment properly, we only create the negative karma that bring forth the result of suffering. So we cultivate loving kindness towards numberless mother sentient beings. So may they have happiness. And how wonderful if they have happiness. So may they have happiness.
더 진짜지 만드나지 리진에 나서 중앙시 내발아서 문디비 저 찾아 저는 점으로 저와지지 저와시
So next we cultivate compassion for all mother sentient beings. So may all mother sentient beings free from physical sufferings such as sickness, such as pain, such as problems created due to imbalance of four elements. So may all sentient beings free from physical suffering.
더 진짜 만드나지 이진 지자가 등에다 나도 타라 예바 타다가 좀 점으로 저와지 저와시
Next, we, in our heart, cultivate compassion towards all sentient beings, thinking, may all sentient beings free from all mental sufferings. For example, the mental fears, anxiety, and the conceptual thoughts, be it coarse one or subtle one. So may all sentient beings be free from conceptual thoughts.
더 뒤져서 진짜지 만드나지 나고 마지는 봐 차라 타다다 저는 점으로 저와지지 저와시
Next, we cultivate compassion towards all sentient beings. Again, may they be free from all verbal sufferings, all verbal negativities that will bring forth the results of suffering, such as divisive speech or harsh speech. So may they all be free from such suffering.
단도디나 진짜 만드나지 고소지 문디비 초 타다다 저는 점으로 저와지지 저와 샤오 대다 신이 발라마나 신지라도 선사도스와도시
나 타마디군다. 도나네도 고순기에.
고소지 문디비 초 타다다 저는 점으로 저와지지 저와 다기 샤오 대다 신이 발라마나 신지라도 선
So in brief, may all sentient beings be free from the undesirable results of the three doors. So may they be free from those sufferings, and I will cause them to be free from those sufferings. Lamas, please bless me to be able to do so.
더 뒤지 동아지나 신지다 통치 코어당에서 그 동아리에 도인 게다 쓰다 보는 니라라 보지 대디네 가서 한다고 또 상지지 공부하는 게 이거든요. 더 이거도 쓰려 있으면 한다고 또 상지를 해봐 시에 신지 통지시도 상지지 공부하다 샤오
Next, we cultivate bodhicitta. So asking oneself, who should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings from sufferings? So I have the responsibility and I should take the responsibility to free all sentient beings from sufferings. However, I do not have the ability right now to free all sentient beings from sufferings. And only those who have achieved the perfect, complete enlightenment have the ability to free all sentient beings from sufferings. Knowing this, for the sake of all having known this, so for the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. Next, we meditate on emptiness. So all phenomena, be it internal phenomena or external phenomena, not one atoms are established intrinsically. So all phenomena are empty of intrinsic existence. They exist. They are imputedly exist by label or by name. So for the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. For this purpose, I'm going to receive Lamrim teachings and put it into practice in order to benefit sentient beings.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Also, ich nicht density, Katuje, Kazi, Sambic density in Rosal. That Joy Disney, so some of it.
Yeah, so we are in the topic of guru devotions or relying on spiritual friends. So previously we have already discussed about relying on the spiritual friends through attitudes or through thoughts. And now today we are going to talk about relying on the spiritual friends through actions.
The Mambo made a Chishibisota, Mambo, Logakiamare, Ina, Tenda Dodo Shibana, Lama Tujiba, the Kanye, but the Chaguris. That 2 Maniba can eat the Depon Shaburis. They can
So in 50 verses on the Guru, it says, what need is there to say a lot of words here? Do everything to make your Guru happy. Abandon everything displeasing him. Apply yourself to that. Examine that.
That can the 2 Jiba Siva de Mazo, that Lamagima, Lando Sunja, so the Lale, Chimachitana, did 2 Jiba, yes. 2 many but the Lando money thing, this shower may be sure. Look the teacher who married shower to do your marriage. This also Kevina, they 2 many but that 2 Gigi so they that on the Malando thing into so that this was a Lalia Tawina. They can this was Lama 2 Jebo Chavore, they would do. Chogo do that, and that is something you convert so to they talk. ju la na me ba ji re se go wa to chi de do je lo be ji sen dong cha go re se wa de so so la ma ge ji sen dong na shi cha go re se.
Yeah, so what pleases our guru is, so whatever the guru says about the object of abandonment and the object of adoptions, the instructions talking about these two objects, then we practice accordingly. So our practice will please the guru. So what displeases the guru is, so whatever the advice given by our guru about the object of adoptions and object of abandonment, and like for example, this is a negative, this is a misdeed, this is a negative deed, and do not do that. So if we do such improper actions or such misdeed, and since it is not in accordance with the object of adoptions and object of abandonment instructed by the guru, so this displeases the lamas. So by practicing properly and according to the instructions on object of adoptions and object of abandonment, then this will please the lamas. So, and this not only it will please the lamas, then we will achieve the supreme attainments or supreme siddhis as well, which refers to the state of enlightenment. And so this following or practicing according to the advice is the method and is also the cause to achieve such a supreme attainment, the state of enlightenment.
the chog no do to reason ni ta dojin chang dojin zima so da dojin chang ko ro wa da dojin chang de somebody so shimba che de shimba che ne de kanda a bi lom che kan di jina de so so la ma tu nyen ba che de ke chen bo reason.
So this was said by Vajidara himself. Spiritual attainments follow the guru. So by following the guru's advice, then you will achieve the spiritual attainments. So aware of this, use everything there is. So everything, like for example, you physically offer a service or you make offerings to them. So use everything there is and make your guru absolutely happy.
ndo dine nipa dhubo da nipa kuwa lan beba shiba wo se ta tenda de taji ndo ngol chi shi tsare ta nju de ga jirwa tenda de tsi marwa la manga ji ko tenda de tiso reze ta la manga ji ko marwa tenda so todo so baina ta tu nipa de karan de tsi ju ya chida ngazu du su ro chida ngazu shawa du dang de la ma tu nipa yo de shawa du ya de chida haja kale khabo yo re sigo 요리데 이나 여기 준세 가지나 나저 나지 라미기 란도 되는 마지 세와 강가다 파지 제비 소단다 네와 제비야 강가다 파지 마지 소단다 일람마 투지에 베칼레 가본 요리데 이나 람마 투지고 shum아이나 그래서 간다 쇠나 소침보다 랍침보사 된지기 투지고 용의 요리 베샤바이나 아마질라 보타버시 베 칼마니게 아마라 지통 마장게 이 아마가 내가 마지세야 강가 제네게 된디 지어봐이나 다 참산의 부디게 아마가 막 내가 되네 내가 된디 제시선했다 아마베 투니가 내가 야보지 니마 찔레지 제봐이나 다 아마한테 빼 셔비 투 네보다 가보 요구를 해서 내가 나시 가서 산지를 빼 지당 가서 산지가 랑도시에 니 맞대게 있어 가서 빼 투지고 두야라 지당 깔리리 요를 해서 이노 미세 소소의 간투 주주시 뜻을 라레타 바이나 산지 chanju simba 요소 저거데 투지보다 내고 시지 그래 다 대유 바이나 아소소의 계절랍 첨부 사사레지고 어 페이션이 뜻.
So the summary of these two verses is in these two lines: to do everything to make your guru happy, abandon everything displeasing him. So this is a summary. So in general, it is very difficult to please our guru. In general, it is very difficult to please our guru. Reason why is the object of the advice on object of adoptions and object of abandonment, like the things that we should do and the things that we should avoid, we do the opposite. Because of doing it in an opposite way against the instructions of against the instructions given by the guru. So these because of this, then it says it is very difficult to please our guru. So, however, it is possible to please our guru as well. Like just like this example. So a kid, so do not listen to his mother's all the times. Always do everything the opposite. Do everything opposite in the opposite way. So his mother say that you should do this, then he purposely not doing that. Purposely not do that, and should not do that, then they purposely do that. So always do not follow the advice of his mother. And one day, and if he happened to do something, follow his mother's advice and do something good, then his mother will be so happy. So we should try our best to follow the advice given by the guru. So if we able to do it, then this will definitely please our guru. Then this will definitely please Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as well. So by pleasing gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we accumulate extensive merit.
That is the answer. Two never that you will do. Two never do Balajina. Song of go song. Never do go song. That's Sanzi water. The one who water got into Basi.
So next is the three means of pleasing him. So the three means of pleasing the guru are offering him material things, serving him and paying him respect with body and speech, and practicing in accordance with his advice.
Yawa Shamba Gobogi, Aganda, Rua, Lami be two Jiba Yunata, Nipundo conditions. That good this was also we shall draw. We shall be chop you at the Dawa, Lama Bay, Hegunaya, Suso, Ma, Deja Maiva. Suso the Lama Bay, Shinichi Chumbaina, de la Pusha with the Bugo. We shall go. Then also in Jijin Yondala. Pembo Chileba, Ushach Budua, Ushach, who didn't Timber Chawa, didn't Timber Chawa. Did member Keba Chileba, Susu never in the Dilla Ushach Budua. You hear Gina, Susu Bay, Minchiari, Kalina, a yarn Budua. We shall imagine you, Mara. But that Kanda could be so the Susu Shiniji, Pibicala, they Kanda, ya Madina Yal Hombach. The Lama Machina Susu Pisha Shapiba, with the Licha, yes, put this over there. The Nimbas was that Nino Shilasova, superior Drua. That reduces what a new loss of Surva, new Shibasuri.
So in this regard, it says in Ornament for the Mahayana Sutras by Maitreya, so through homage offerings purely obtained and service and practice, you should rely on a spiritual friend. So through homage, so here homage also refers to also means respect as well. So we need we regard the Dharma teachers as our spiritual friends or as our lamas. Then we have to show our respect. We have to pay respect to them by prostrating to them. Or like for example, if they happen to pass by, then if we are sitting, then we have to stand up in order to show a respectful gesture to them. So in general, we also show respect to others in our societies. Like for example, if a high rank officers pass by, then we also show our respect. We also physically show our respect as well, show our respect to them as well. So if skilled doctors pass by, then we also show our respect to them. So similarly, we should show respect to our spiritual friends as well, just like what I mentioned just now. If we happen to sit down when the Guru passed by, then we have to stand up in order to show respect to the spiritual friends or spiritual teachers, or do prostrations towards them. So offerings is we offer our resources, or we offer material things, a gift to them. And service. So service here, like for example, if the teachers happen to fall sick, then we take care of them. So this is one of the service that we can offer.
Rangi lobe lama de la kadi sunde lama tilichi shigo ruwa tilichi shigo de maso ndo yukazi shigo de ta nunda laba chi laba lunchi sudruwa laba lunchi sudruwa de ta ngwa goni shigo de wangko ji shigo menga nunga zi shigo ruwa zi shigo
konda de wang na wa
wangko ji shigo menga nunga ruwa de chidang also chidang kadi sundi tsai lama se kiskita chirwa.
Yeah. So before I talk about this offering material things, so how do we regard someone as our root guru? So is someone who has three kindness towards oneself. So lamas who have at least three kindness towards oneself. So in terms of sutra, so it's the one who give the scriptures, who offer this scriptural transmissions, who give advice, and who give commentaries. So teachers who have done these three types of kindness to us, then we can regard the teachers as our root guru. So this is from the sutra aspect. And then from the tantra aspect, then is a lama or is a teachers who give us the initiations, who explain tantra, and who give us the instructions. So then we can regard that teachers as our root guru.
Chida susugi Buddha chumar sunga tun jiti yonsu chabala to jimba shawa marwa jimbi shawa tawani chawiyo marisi warwa chawiyo marde ina tendijipe jimba shawa mayibe tendipe zidong chenpo susugi zidong chezaji puwa ina uyobachi tendiji chadi marisi warwa tendipu uyobachi wata tendiji chadi wasuda tendigi uyobachi la ta shenda longchi la soba supe kiji nga sope you are no so that is what people want that touch on yes kanda wa otanda dire kanda
So as regard the first, it says in 50 verses on the Guru, through things not given, your children, your wife, and through your life, you should always rely on the master of your commitments, needless to say, through fickle possessions. So the Guru, we have high regard for the Guru, and then we make offerings to them. So in general, the things not normally given, like for example, our children or our wife and etc. So those are not the things that we normally given. However, since we have high regard for the Guru, and those things not normally given are also worth offerings. So it's to show how high the regard we have for the Guru, to show how much regard we have for the Guru. So needless to say, through fickle possessions. So fickle possessions is the things that always changing. So don't mention the things that always changing, like possessions, resources, material things, gifts, and etc. So definitely we have to make offerings to them.
다도 보는 이 차로 예수와 세나사 라만 보레 이 다도 그냥 상지 탕지를 보는 이 차로 예수 대 차로에 존재의 가르스나 얘니 초지 나와시다 집어 상지 그거다 라미기 바부 부가나 슈들이 예수가 슈들이 예수가 우리 저바 피우지 라미 바부 부가나 슈니 상지 탕지배 라미 바부 부가나 들리배 슈니 띵 저바 내우리 예수가 상지를 소 상지도 좀 저바 내우리 근데 소자 예수도 라마데 수수 지워 힘바이나 수수 세워 수수 지워라 마다바지 예수도 상지 근데 디시 찐다 가슴 디시 잖아 근데 시사와 어떻게 피바이나 다 간다 제가 비유 주문 도와대 엘라만 비나 추치자와 세대 제가 탄지를 피바 문제를 해서 왜 라미 바부 보가는 추치자와 세대 제가 탄지 쉬운데 그래서 쉬는 제가 이거를 해서
So, and giving that amounts to always offerings gives to all the Buddhas. So offering that accumulate merits, so and which turns into the highest cities. So then we make offerings to our lamas, like for example the wealth, possessions, resources, and etc. So by making offerings to them, then we accumulate merits, and it is same as these. Actions of making offerings to our lamas is same as making offerings to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Reason is because when we make offerings to our lamas and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, they will reside in the hair paw of the lamas and receive the offerings that you made. So that is why when we make offerings to our lamas, then it is same as making offerings to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as well.
Oh, that indeed Kanda. That Kanda China Suzu Pina Lama da Bihin is not to Zolia Cheba Purita, Chebadia, Lady never your Marisco. Chebadia share never your Maris
Sanjiro.
Oh, Sanjiro Cheba. Shaping about your Marisco. Shaping about your Marina, so Pina. People send out the Tahara Yoris. Send out the Tahara. The Yes. Kanda Maleva in a Tujik is single yes. So Tujik. Send out the people. Cheba people pet Lami Shinat Tujik. Single yes. Sanjay. Lama Sundishin. Oh, the little Kanda. That Kanda so to see people in a Kanda. She let it.
Yeah, so when we make offerings to our lamas or to our spiritual teachers or to Buddhas, it's not necessarily that they will accept the offerings. So, however, by making offerings to them, we accumulate the merits of making offerings to them. So we do accumulate the merits of making offerings to them as well. And when we make offerings to our lamas, then we will receive the blessings from them in our heart. So by making offerings to them, then we create we accumulate extensive merits, or we complete the accumulations of extensive merits. And by these merits, then it becomes the cause for us to achieve a form body in the future. So these great accumulations of merits will become the cause for us to achieve form bodies in the future. And this achievement of form bodies is the supreme siddhis, or the highest siddhis, or the supreme attainment. And serving and paying respect with body and speech. Bathing him, massaging him, cleaning him, and nursing him. So when he is ill, and so forth, and talking about his excellent qualities. So the first line talks about offer service through our body, and the second line talking about his excellent qualities referred to pay respect and offer our service through speech.
That's somebody got you to do was it or somebody that got you to do was it that did the kitchen bush would you tell you the ship at the Lama to Jim and just that did it. The kitchen. Kanda Lami Malando Caristomana, Dambal in Manga or Dubade, in its own resita, did Geralo to somebody as raw. Gerole, the Casito Judu Shisarwa, Pimble the Chibashan, good signals never is. That Kanda this would that's Kanda Lama Susula Surwa, Lando Gunete, Cutting Chibo, that this also the park. Train Jaya Chita, Karichabure as in that train Jaya Chito, the Kadi train is also park, Elaine, Chuba Piade. That Chuba Piade, Lami Malando Tea, so that Susu Lata Yaku, Chinani Abuchibana, that didn't have your Marisiva. Chuba. That Chuba Yashi to the Esimer. So Lami is so Malando Tea, so the Yanet to get the Chevana. That did Dubicheva, Dubicheva. Dubicheva Shivure, it's a Chibushivure, that the digit Lalita Vaina, but that Cheva Yashitere, this also with Sola Chimbasaya Ashutere, Lama Tujigine Ashutere, the Sanji Chanjusumba Tanji Tujigine Ashutere, the Mida Mima Kashu Yaka Kandigina, Samape Tujo Yashit Chabur.
Practicing in accordance with his advice, so practicing without going against the instructions, this being the main one. In Garland of Birth Stories, it says the offering to be made in return for his help is practiced in accordance with his instructions. So this is very important, and as I mentioned just now, so whether that which pleases the guru, that mainly pleases the guru or not is our practice. So what we should do is practice without going against the instructions. So they are advised on object of adoptions and object of abandonment, then we should practice accordingly. So just like in the Garland of Birth story says, the offerings to be made in returns for his help is practiced in accordance with his instructions. So in order to repay the great kindness of the lamas, then we think of making offerings to them. So to repay their kindness. So then you may think to yourselves. So what is the best offerings that I could make to repay their great kindness? So the best offerings that you could make to repay their great kindness is your practice. Your practice according to their instructions, and there is nothing better than these offerings already. So, and these offerings and this is called the offerings of practice. So you practice according to the instructions, and it's also one kind of offerings as well, and it's called offerings of practice. So these types of offerings is the best offerings, and these best offerings accumulate the most merits, and even so, not only this will pleases the guru the most, and this will please this will please the human beings, the non-human beings, and also please the God, the God from the God on the white side.
That the Jelanga to such Shiva de Timmy Pay the Rua. That she is such Shiva Rua. That Timmy Pay the Rua. That Timmy Pay the machines.
So next is the advantages of reliance.
That the Didi the Sanji Kumpala. Gishini Tsuzu Yabutemina. The Sanji Kumpala never Chago Yesu. Sanji Kumpala Neva. That Sanji Kumpala never Chata the countries in Arua. In this Gishini Tsuzu the Tembaina. Deeper to the Njo near the point of the Yesu. Sanji Kumpala, Njobu and Jobola, Niala, Panja Super. The so Mabana Sanji Kumpala go to Marua. 다 신이하고 추기 때문에 상지지 공부라 니와야 노야기 딘디기 배 신을 소랍 친구 싸는 거 대 니와 노야다 수족 지진 딱 너무 두서도 봐 뇨도 봐 빵이 상지지 공부를 뇨도 토야 된다 좋아 안 좋은 노야기.
Yeah, so the advantages of reliance, and it says in the scriptures that you will approach the stage of the Buddha. So if we rely on the spiritual friends properly, then we will quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. So in order to quickly achieve the state of enlightenment, what we should do is we have to quickly abandon the object of abandonment, like for example, negativities and afflictions. So those are the objects that we have to quickly abandon in order to quickly achieve the state of enlightenment. If we do not abandon those negativities and afflictions, then there is no way that we can achieve the state of enlightenment, right?
다 이제 자원은 투지 봤어. 다 자원은 투지 봤다. 다시 공부 시간을 신이로 다 간다. 소소 아마들 부구도 소이나 아마가 가로 너바이나 부구도 소이나 아마도 시버가 기초는 미드서가 아마도 부구도 소야 부시보다 파마 칼들이 약간 뉴르슨 참마고 떠라서 참마가 지으러 와. 그래서 부구도 소 파마가 칼은 님바시 정보 취지 조보 조모도 소 참마라 봐. 야분 지통샤야 되는 내부 지방이나 참마 가와 이으로 대 가와 인자도 다가로 최차서 그래서 최케네나 최대가 최케네나 많이나 예자사사 하다 와 예자랍 좀 사사 뭐 대가 나시 대 계신이 수기리 아부 때문에 대 조지 자와 세다 잡았어 강가다 대가 나시 투지고 우리 해서
Yeah, so the next benefit is that the victors will rejoice, or that the victors will be happy or pleased with us. So as mentioned just now, so just like the example as I mentioned, so so whatever the mothers advise their kids to do, and those kids accomplish it accordingly. So these will definitely please the mothers, right? So not only the mothers will be pleased with his children, and others they will like the children and then praise the children as a good boy and good girl as well. So the neighbors and friends, etc., they will like those children, and then they will praise them as well. So by following the advice, so these by following the advice of the mothers, so whether we as a person we accept Buddhism or not, then by following the advice of the mothers, the good advice of the mothers, then this definitely will accumulate the roots of virtue.
다 대지스 어와 다 대지니 좀 공부하세 되래 된다 와 대지스 다 선바들 와다 대지니 좀 공부하세요 다 대낭송아 나중에 좀 말람 지야 소지 잡을다 저는 제무지 뭐만 쉬서래 간다 나서배 이신이 세인데 마치 까봐 새로네 마다와 제신 좀 봐쇼 생각서 나중에 제무와 지와 kun도 양다 라마다 그다음에 취주별라 논지 사다란지 연대라서 도진장에 공부도 쇼서 됐다버시 맞아 문다만 야가라 차 소리지 연애 녀지하고 지내서 같이 창성 비토 상황이 면한 적을 좋아 이제 우리 이 개체 보시다래 근데배 대신이 수신이하고 때문에나 그 예신이 좀 공부해서 신 dir장지 세고 말이야 그러니까 새로운 전에 예신이지 맞아와 제신 좀 보고 드리잖아 사람들 했어요 어디 이대로 개체 버려 가지고 예신이지 공부하다 자사나 예수속에 다 소사야 디파장 되고 하자 빨리 가보러 와 빨리 가보래 우리들이서 디페 개체 뭐 지대 예신이지 뭐 공부해서 되게 된다도 빼 근데 말람 지야 돼 디하고 쉬어래 지와 풍도 원달라마다 그다음에 시집을 온지 싸다 한지 연대라서 도진 참고 공부하려도 쇼세 어디 배치 좀 맞나 남아 시죠
Yeah, so the next benefit is that you will not be deprived of virtuous friends. So this is the main thing in our prayers as well. So we always pray to meet with the spiritual friends. So by following, by relying on the spiritual friends properly, then
not only in these lives, so in the future lives as well. So future lives refers to lives after lives, that we will not be deprived of virtuous friends, and we will always meet with the spiritual friends. So and those many practitioners or many people, before they sleep, then they will say this prayer. So a verse of 4 lines. So what it means is may I meet with the spiritual friends again and again. So they will recite these prayers and then to think about it before they sleep. So if we rely on the spiritual friends properly, then we will receive these benefits, that we will not deprive or bereft of the spiritual friends. And if we do not meet with the spiritual friends, so if we do not meet with the spiritual friends, then it will be very difficult for us to engage in abandoning negativities and practicing virtue.
The Tegano record that the issue to in a Mazupe, Nendu Matua, so Nendu Lamatuanga, the Janu Jodi, Jibi Chuika, the Janu de la, so Neso with Dungan and Jitan, Dilichu, but the Lama Kunjosola, by each of the Janu Chiwurua, Janu Chiwurua. Oh, that the Janu Chioda, Tang and those are my Matse Kanda, so Gishin Tsuki to Demina, that quad and Suku Duma, Tom Chilipe, and the Nendu Matumba, so that one to see. 세시장이 예수로 와 세시장이 예수로 년도 마치 떤 khoada 예수 동안 간디지나 년에나 솔로마 만도에 텐디시에 솔랍 친구 우리 예수로 din는 년도 못 동안에서 로디 세시 예수로 에 din는 kho아찔라 고쳐버려 와 kho아찔라 kho아찌게 등에라마 뇨아라 마두아 와
Excellent. And the next benefit is that you will not fall to the lower rebuffs. So you will not fall to, if we rely on the spiritual friends properly, we will not fall to the lower rebuffs. So when this is the main cause that we take a refuge in the 3 jewels, that we fear of the sufferings of 3 lower realms, then we take refuge in the 3 jewels. So, and from these words that you will not fall to the lower rebuffs, then we can also understand, we can also extend it to not only the lower rebuffs, we will not fall to the lower rebuffs, and we will not experience the samsaric sufferings as well. So not only limited to the lower rebuffs, and we will not experience the samsaric sufferings as well. So we will receive such blessings, and we will, by following or the advice or by relying properly on the spiritual friends, then we will receive the blessings, and we will create extensive merits.
That in this one, that lane about the new maybe to Bakawa as he did it, DJ. I did the Harare, once of the Gishin Tsuki the Apotemina, the Gishin Tsuki dinner. Gishin the land of the Tata Chewa, Gishin Tsuki the days or the Gishin the land of the names, so I'm not seeking to do a dirwa, and that do the dirwa. Or the Gishin is land of nating, and it's not seeking to do by the Gishin Tsuki Tara Tensa. Tara and that Tensa. Or in this one, that land of native Gishin Tsuki, the land of native Tsuki the so that new about Kunjo Naja Tado Swade Rashichi Kasar. So never G2 man. Gishin Lando, Tiajo Shambi Nane, and Jesus Shambi Nane Bonda, Niji Nane Bonda, and Digipe Ma Sun Sadi Susu, Lata de Jodi, Kunjo and Naja so the Rashichi Kasar. Yoman. Roa. Or that the Jews never G2 man is what Kanda. The town with the Mazuan is Hakoya. Mazu Shambaya, you go, Lami Sumba Nazi Shambaya, you go because that she ended up Kunjo Loyagi, Jim Kandi Jumana, Lela Kunjo one, go to Marwa. Kunjo da Shamban Duvaina, Shamba the Tonu with him, Kunjo to Marco. As in the Kunjo the Cob Mateba Chatara, Could Tembo Yoma. Shamba the Tembo. Tembo Menjuchi, Tembo the Paria, Touch Chevina, shouldn't read to Mar. What Teganashi? That is the name of the Tubakawa. That is what some of the time of the judge who should read this.
The next benefit is that you will not easily succumb to bad karma and afflictions. So in other words, is bad karma and afflictions, you will not be easily overpowered by bad karma and afflictions. So again, if we rely on the spiritual friends properly, then what does it mean by rely on spiritual friends properly? So in other words, what it means, or in other words, is you practice their advice, or you practice according to their advice, or you practice according to their instructions. So by practice according to their advice or instructions on the object of abandonment and adoptions, then like for example, those anger thoughts and those negative thoughts such as pride and etc., we already reject, or we already eliminate those afflictions already, anger and pride, for example. So by eliminating those afflictions, then it cannot bring harm to us anymore, right? So these are the object of abandonment. And when we practice the object of adoptions, like for example, or you have to practice, you have to cultivate loving kindness, and you have to cultivate compassions. So our lamas give such advice to us, and if we accomplish according to their advice, then there is no way that we will get angry, right? Because by cultivating loving kindness, compassions, etc., that it will eliminate the anger thoughts and those and others afflictions as well. So by cultivating the positive or the good thoughts such as loving kindness and compassions, then it will eliminate their negative thoughts, their opposite thoughts. So even if we meet with the conditions for us to get angry, however, since our mind hold on to the loving kindness and compassions, then we will not get angry easily. So these cultivations of loving kindness and compassions is a very stable cultivations. These thoughts are very stable. So these stable cultivations of loving kindness and compassion, they will overpower those unstable negative thoughts such as anger and pride. So therefore, it says that you will not be easily overpowered by bad karma and afflictions. So if just these benefits alone, if we think about it and think further about it, then it links to many other points. Hello.
Tadi jela dire doa, ta shansi ji jeba de mangawa tela temba de temba si dili doa. Ta tega re gi hini tsusun do yabu temba ina, ta shansi ji jeba de mangawa de zuo de ngazo changju sin de doba. Changju sin de doba shi changju ina, ta duso pe gi hini tsusun do yabu temba ina, ta shansi ji doba ta mangai temba tembo da temba chabu de se doa. So ge nyane ge temba tembo. So nyane ge temba tembo lewo de ta changju sin de doba ta changju sin de jeba de ngawa. Edi ma res pin de de res go.
Yeah, so since you will not transgress the conduct of bodhisattvas, remaining mindful of it. So you will not transgress the conduct of bodhisattvas if you rely on the spiritual friends properly. So when you rely on them, then you will have you practice according to their advice or their instructions, right? So your mind always think about it. Your mind is always aware of those advice and instructions. And since you have this stable awareness or stable mindfulness of those instructions, then you will not do actions that will contradict or break the bodhisattva's conduct or vows.
Da de lisu za ro da changzi ji jeba de manga chengba tembo de temba ma se da yundi ji chotang ji jento ju re ndo ne tin ne ga da tadu ji jang ju lu re se da yundi ji chotang ji jento do so da so so gu ji la ngang so to ba de ri ma ji do be yi shi ni chu shi do ya bu temba ina da ngang so su su ge be lam sa ha ma go na kan da teng yi bi ne se la so so ya jin do ba ka tu ha ma go na ya jin du yo. 이 야진 줘야 돼. 소소 담보마 취지양고 손에 소 단다바 상노 땅바이나 야지 시본도 살. 야지 시본도 살와 도살. 이 뜻이 소자 게이신이 취지야 보된 바이나 다 취지다 까마 다와다 로진에 소술파 또버스도 공이 공도 편에 야지 로그를 해서고 내가 맞좀 문제 비내와 세와 가리지나 수성마 파도 투야기 실은 주고 해서 와 그 다두다이나 땡진디마 먼저 상지지 공부 땡진디마 타바다 당지지 공부서 그 유명도 토야기 대신에 해서 비어 그 뒤에 된다데 와 난 어서 인제 공부도 농구 인제다 또비 인제 되니와 저도 돼야 공부도 해야 되리 저 맞아는 와 농구 인제 또비 인제니까 공부도 해
Your accumulations of excellent qualities will grow higher and higher, and all your temporary and ultimate goals will be accomplished. So if we rely on the spiritual friends properly, then we will develop realizations in our mind gradually. So and we will develop more and more qualities in our mind stream. And these qualities in our mind stream mainly refer to the two types of quality, the scriptural quality and the realizational qualities as well. So even though at first when we practice, sometimes then we do not understand. However, if we continue to practice, continue to rely on them, continue to practice according to the spiritual friends' advice, then we are gradually getting improved. So we are improving ourselves over time. So we are getting better and better over time. So we might not aware of how much improvement that we have developed. However, by comparing our current stage to the stage that we were just started, then you can see how much improvement that you have already developed, or the qualities that you have already developed in your mind stream. So we practice accordingly. So we rely on them properly. Then over months, over years, then these qualities and realizations surely will develop in our mind stream. So by following their advice, by relying on them properly, then those we will achieve all our temporary and ultimate goals. So temporary goals, whatever that we do not want, then those will be eliminated. Like for example, the temporary goals. So we do not want those undesirable results, and by following the advice of the spiritual friends, then those undesirable results will be eliminated, and those ultimate goals, like for example, the state of enlightenment, then definitely we will achieve it.
That's the jail level tendarwa. In this way, Tanga Sung Yendola Machiagi, Le Mambo Satsare, Le Satsati, that Gishi Tsuki Yaputimbaina, that Le Satsawa Dusugi, Namiji Dipada, Dripud Mamina, Tasusugi, Shadonda, Sosena Sayada, the Nikitochi, then Dripud, doing a Chachimbo, the Yomogua, that Maginawa Jena, doing it Duja, Sadang doing it Duja, you want think Hisarwa. Oh, that the nigga, Jibby, doing it Chachimbo, Nendola Machine, doing it Chachimbo, you want the soda, Lesa Sanjo to soda. This was the Gation of Tsugi, the Diggy, Lanto Netsala, Lata Chebaina. That Mina the Nuan Rawaji, Sendela Roa, Sendela Pe, and also La Balina, and Kamba, Sema Chuji Subanashi. Sema Chuji, Sunipe, Soachi Leshu Sansanawachi. So I did that the Digi Namijin Jibud, a Jimine, that coaching a ton of Yesigo. Loa, ton of Yesigo. That the Digi coaching with Yesigo, and there were Milan the Nuansachi. Loa, then also something in Milan, Pesosoma, Gangi Shibunte, Mayana Sado, the Chilolas of the Milady, Shivigi, the Gangi, Niji Steba, our Remudas and the Senate Gava, the Tuashi Libdua. Oh, That the Nikanda Milan Zanji is with that. The Nizaji Modern Maresi, that's also the pay love to the yes.
Yeah. So in general, since beginner's time, we have accumulated numberless negative karma, whose result is to be experienced in the lower realms. So we have accumulated all of negative karma to experience its result in the lower realms. So it is impossible. So it is almost impossible for sentient beings who do not accumulate such negative karma, because we have accumulated all sorts of karma that will its result is to be born in the highest peak of samsara and then down to the lowest hell. So we have accumulated all sorts of negative karma. So that includes the negative karma to be born in lower realms as well. So once we have accumulated such negative karma, if we do not do anything about it, so we just leave it as it is, then definitely it will ripen. Those negative karma will ripen, and then we have to experience the results accordingly. Like for example, in the 3 lower realms. So, and however, we can do something about it before those negative karma ripen. So we can do virtuous activities, and then we can do compassion practice, and then to purify those negative karma before they ripen. Yeah. So before they ripen, then we can do all this. We can do these virtuous activities, and then we can do purification practice to purify it. So after we purify those negative karma, then we only experience a little bit in these lives. Like for example, a small thorn, a sharp thorn, a thorn pierce into our legs or into our hands. So just a small thorn then pierce into it. Then we have a little bit of feelings of this piercing into our hands or legs. And by experience this, then that karma, its results supposed to be experienced in the lower realms are exhausted. So just by having this experience or these feelings of this sharp tone piercing into our hands, and then by relying properly on the spiritual friends, and these negative karma are purified, then we only experience these feelings only. So, or we experience in our dreams, like for example, sometimes we have nightmare, then we fell into the water, then we cannot come up, and then we fell off the cliffs and etc. So and then suddenly we wake up, then we realize it's just a dream, then we feel very happy, right? Because it's just a dream, it's not real. So those karma are purified, and then we only experience these in our dreams.
Lama de Sanji Quinji Dani is Sanji Chanjusum, but Samala Dani. Lama la Pina Sanji Chanjusum, but Samala Pi Cochi would hasten. Lama Gona Sanji Chanjusum, but Samagon Cochi would hasten.
Lama Gona.
Or Lama Gombaina, Sanji Chanjusum, but you want Zoba Goma would hasten. Wa. Ah, you don't give Gomba Sanji Lama Gona Cochi woman. Wa, either Lama Gomba Cochi woman. Nansu Naji,
이담 지부공나?
이담 공부이나 라마 공부 고치고 말이지. 라마 공부 고치고 말이지. 좋아. 근데 순서 가서 이담 공부이나 이담데 라미 공부 예미바 맞다바이나 아 이담 공부 마시고 따라서 뒤에 가서 뭐 지부 담보 뭐지 소르다. 이 shumchem보나 도열이 간다 이담 공부디 이담데랑 라마다 뭐 예미바 맞다바이나 따서와 이담 공식고를 신고요 말이지. 좋아. That is what is catching bush. That she need to be piercing, and she need to take on the things that were Mantua Manuach.
Yeah. So furthermore, through serving and paying respect to the spiritual teachers, the karma for experiencing the lower rebirths is exhausted directly in this lifetime through only slight harm to body and mind, or else through experiences in dreams. It is said that there are enormous benefits that outshine the roots of virtue of making offerings and the like to innumerable Buddhas. So by making offerings to numberless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then definitely we accumulate extensive merits. However, compared to making offerings to one's Lama or spiritual friends, and the later, the roots of virtue accumulated are exceeded the previous one. So it means by making offerings to one's Lama, the roots of virtue that we accumulate exceeds that to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So making offerings to Lamas, we accumulate even more benefits than we make offerings to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So though making offerings to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas already accumulate extensive merits, however, making offerings to Lamas accumulate even more merits than the previous one. So then Lamas actually is the embodiment of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So Lama is the embodiment of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So when we meditate on a guru, then it is equivalent to meditate on all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So however, if we do not know the proper way to meditate, then if we were to meditate on a yidam or our meditational deities, then it doesn't necessarily means that you are meditate on your guru as well. So when we meditate, when we do practice, and then we meditate on meditational deities, then if we do not see the nature of the yidam is no different from our lamas, then this shows that we do not know how to practice. We do not know how to meditate on yidam. So this is the sign that is to show us. This is the sign to show that we do not know the proper way to meditate on the yidam or meditational deities. So therefore, we need to rely on our spiritual friends unmistakenly.
Ko ni mambu chosa nyang de demba ina lama chingu yes na chibu dewa ina lama chingu yes na ta de juma cheba lama chingu yes juma cheba lama chingu yes oh tendige lama tine meba da kiba megi sheba ina ta shina jeche mo kunju yes shina
lama cheni
tendigo megi sheba tendige megi meba da kiba roa tendige megi cheba ina ta lama shina
And the Venerable Milarepa says, in the I think of Lama when I'm in the crowd, and I think of Lama when I'm alone. I think of Lama uninterruptedly all the times. By thinking of Lamas all the times and respect him, then I receive the blessings of Lama uninterruptedly as well. So I repeat. So Venerable Milarepa says, so I think of Lama when I'm in the crowd. I think of Lama when I'm alone. I think of Lama all the times. By showing respect and thinking of a Lama, I receive the Lama's blessings all the time.
Loma Jesus, Loma Tuji Jesus, the Rank Loma Deba Yobaina, that she let us in Newton Juata, Jumachiba, you will yes. That Gishin is pay Loma Jesus, Tumbaina, Loma Gishin la Deba Mebaina, or Shilam Jumari, Nangagi, Shilam Jipatiso, Jumaris, Shilam Jumari, Nangag Jipatiso, Tokumaris, whatever. Gishin Loma Jesus, Sumbaina, Susu, Loma Deba Mena.
Yeah, so if we rely on the spiritual friends properly, so the lamas, they take care of the students with compassion, and from the student sides, then they have faith in the guru as well. Then they will quickly and uninterruptedly receive the blessings. So in other case is even though the teachers or the lamas they take care of the students with compassion. However, from the student side, they do not have faith in the guru. Then even though the teachers or lamas they take care of the students with compassion, however, since the students do not have faith in the guru, they do not receive the transmissions of the instruction. They do not receive the instruction lineage, and they do not receive the blessings as well.
Lama Matimi Nemi Sewade, Indirida, Sachikur Matimi Nemi Lugua. Loading also Lama Tsawani Martina, the Nemi Shibu Matayante, Dikija Shibu. You tell that Karshiva, Tambo Gishini, the tin, it's a low ina, the neighbor sower, Nemi sower. The Nemi Sachimore, this sower, Matimi Nemi Sewade. Tambo Gishini, Sugan the Shibatine, the things alone. Yes, Nemi Yores, and Lari Jumbo Lari Chebo Saman Terda, Taro Yerwa. Such a Lamati Nimis and the Shibua. That thing that's all in a team, Manuge, and Dichila, Missig, Nimis, and Dikija Shibua.
So next is the disadvantages of not relying properly. So if in Tibetans, the words is the disadvantages of not relying. So here in English, then it adds the word properly. So if you take someone as your spiritual teachers and then back off in your reliance on him, a lot of then this talks about the disadvantages. So here it doesn't talks about the disadvantages of not relying on the spiritual friends at all. So it doesn't talks about such disadvantages from that aspect. It talks about the disadvantages of first, you take someone as your spiritual teachers, spiritual guru, then your way of relying on him is wrong. Then what kinds of disadvantages is that? So then it talks about the disadvantages. So this is same for Lamrim Chenmo and the great stages of the path to enlightenment, also same for this middle length Lamrim as well. So it talks about the disadvantages of not relying properly after you regard someone as your spiritual teachers.
Tadi Chidang also Shini thinks that Martin Binim Wolma, so Siji Kalitin Wolma Libu, the Legre. Tangi Dilma Chilean Luigi Shua in a war. And Chana Dojigi, Jundi de Lea Shua, Chana Doji, Jundi de Shini. The lobby, the Lama Latini, neighbor Jivada, Mandiba Chevaina,
Lama and Lobala.
What that Lama Lobela, Lama Lobela is in Nimichiba. The name Mandiba Nimichiba Lasava, the Chevaina. I didn't Mambo or Nimichiba Lasava, Madiba Mambo Yorua, in the Chevaina, Namiji, Jebu the country, who is in a Jundi de Lea Shiva, Chana Doji. That Jundi de Jima Kasawala. Chana Doji is a Benekan, the Chana Doji la Astra. We did Chanzo de Shibaina, Sada Jibin, some of it, Tarnoris, Shina Jellis. Need the Chanzo, Chanzama, Lamisi, only did this one.
Shina and the Mima in the
or Hada Jibin, some of our the Shina Jibwet in the Yeresco. Around the lobby, the Lama, the Nimijiba, and Namji Jibute. The Chanang she means
so before I talk about the disadvantages on the text, then I would like to tell you a story. So a story or a history. So Vajrapani. So Vajrapani asked Buddha Shakyamuni a question. So if the students or disciples, they belittle or disparage their master, do not have faith in their masters and etc. So what kinds of results they will experience? So then Buddha Shakyamuni answer the questions by calling Vajrapani, so by calling his name. So Vajrapani, so if I were to tell you the results they will experience from this cause, then the whole world, the whole world, or those gods, they will feel horrible as well. So they will be in fear as well. So I'm not going to tell you completely what kinds of consequences is that. Yeah, so this history or this history is quote from the tantric scriptures, from the tantra scriptures. So then Buddha said that I'm not going to tell you completely what is the consequences of that negative karma. However, and since you have asked the questions already, then I will tell you a little bit. So I'll tell you a little bit of that great consequences. So please, listen carefully.
등이 누가 들리라 찌는 거래스 들리라 찌고래스 들리라 찌워서 저런 게 로벨라 님이 진격이 신지대다 참말아 저런 마 야고 시에쇼 버스 코잖아 로아 신지들라 로벨라 님이 진격이다 라마라 들이 님이 진격이나 코슬파 야고 고치쇼 버스 이 네바들이 전부 이거래스 다르게 이 네바의 디디저에 맞아 참자 시기네 해서 로아 어디서 저런 게 야고 님이 좀 love shows.
So I will tell you the a little bit of that ripening results or the consequences of that negative karma. So those who criticize or belittle or disparage their masters, and they will born in hell uninterruptedly. So they will born in hell uninterruptedly without retributions. So and experience great sufferings there. So those you master and students or those who belittle their masters, then you should all listen carefully and then avoid that.
다 간다디로와 다 빠차나도 지게 다 동아 안산메바 망부 요거는 이르네 주르네 같이 용구래 해서야 휴가 주르네 다 주르네 같이 용구래 해서야 휴데 다 든디게 님이 집어나 주르무 까바 망부지라 용구래 해서 산지 대마선다 아다 로카시 야타다 로동자 카시 말레스 까바 망부지라 든디 등이 용가게 내사는 거래 해서 또다 든디 라고래 해서
Yeah. So then Vajrapani again asks Buddha Shakyamuni, so you say those who belittle or disparage their masters will experience sufferings without any retributions or uninterruptedly. So for how long they are going to experience those sufferings? And then Buddha Shakyamuni replied, they will experience not just 100 years, and they will not experience it for just 1,000 years. They will experience such sufferings for eons, for many eons.
Oh, that the dig junsin to la sanotani, that also Sinji Gangala Kanda, did a number kundo, Kadina, that lobby and Nemesi, did Noya Muji is 다 던지기 배 하고 봐지 제쇼.
주당
넘버 군도와. 디 넘버 가디나. 가디나 당이 로벨라 네미 뭐지 이상에 디 넘버 끊어봐 하고 봐지 제쇼. 그래서 다 사막. 와. 디 네바 하고 봐 뭐지 봐 제쇼. 뭐지? 다 주제.
Yeah, so with this as a reason, then we sentient beings, and you should all the time you should understand. You should know that you shouldn't belittle or disparage or your master anytime. So understand this point. So Buddha Shakyamuni. So with this his story as a reason, then you should understand that we should not disparage our master anytime. Yeah, so this story is related to this outline, the disadvantages of not relying properly. So previously we do not have time. We didn't have time for question and answer. So if you have any questions to ask, then you can ask now. So in next class, then we will talk about this the disadvantages of not relying properly. 제가 ting엔디 가서 디 삼삼라 이게 지기요라. Yeah, so if you have no questions, then I will just continue.
Yeah, no question from the chat box.
Okay. Yeah.
다디 지르와. 다 간다 마티 비니미들이와. 다 마티 비니미들 다 기신이 담부 땡산에 신이 땡서 로바이나 다 친지기 내다 데 마보지 이마 찐다 다 드라마시가 마보지 우리스 와 디시마라 간다 당연히로 우리가 다 다지 그래도 로지디 쉬자바나시 아빠들 같은 용거 땡땡이래서 와
Yeah, fifth, if you take someone as your spiritual teacher and then back off in your reliance on him, so you're wronged in your way of relying on him, then a lot of illnesses and evil spirits will cause harm in these lives. And in future lives, you will have to experience the immeasurable sufferings in the lower rebirths, so as mentioned just now.
Nimejibala setu bashia yo maris wa dinaya tendishia yo maris tendigi setu baina this was nyawala kanda chukuma kuleya chochino ya but sebanashi sama sebanashi dus seba tendiya soya tendigi domin yo yes na inamela pro jisro wa tendigi nyawala tendi chelo gres ta tanda kodishi ba sema lamanga chipa ma tenda shelo wa
So in 50 verses on the Guru, it says, never agitate the minds of your master, not at all. So not anytime you should not agitate the minds of your master, never, not at all. So if you do so because of confusion, you will surely roast in hell. So if we were to agitate or disturb the minds of our masters, then definitely we will experience the numberless sufferings in the lower realms. Like for example, in hell, then we are being cooked in the boiling water, or we are being steamed or roast. We will experience the sufferings of being steamed or roast. Shantibar.
Oh, dig Dana Kandi Matambale, Dana Kandi Chanta Hinduba, Hinduba, that George Lamazuchi Chawa. That diggy is soon that 디 지지 지전님 발라 강길람만 집에 치진이 자치니 메셔진도 지원지로스네 디소도와 어딜마치 쉬어요와.
So in a passage from the commentary on difficult points of the black opponents of Yama, composed by Shantipa. So Shantipa is one of the main guru of Lama Tsongkhapa. So in this commentary, it also says, whoever hears a single verse and doesn't apprehend the guru or doesn't regard as the guru will be born among dogs 100 times and then as someone of low caste, with the E.
다간다 토마데 카스미라 땅마 gemba 참마다 파치 신고르와 다도 하고 그래 다 양자 니딩 와서 세나야 제소치에 양자 와서 같이 시바이나 간다 쭌노도 계속 말으와 말을 제바이나 시바이나 이 간다 시지지전이 발아 간다 람맘 강글람맘 치치니 자치스와디 된다 소소 담보배 소소 쭌는데 신람마라 쭌는데 시와 쭌니야긴 대바여버치 라마 땡데여버치 와 대바여버치 다 들린 대바여비 토네 다 지지지전 예바이나 다 라마 차사를 간다 소소 개인이 차사를 한번 드시러.
Yeah, so regarding this first, so those senior members, most probably you have known about it already. However, I would like to, repeat it. I would like to repeat it. So as a reminders for us, and there is, it is good to remind. Good to remind all of us as well. So there's no wrong in repeating this point. So whoever hears a single verse and doesn't apprehend or regard as the guru, so will be born among dogs 100 times. So this, the meaning of this verse is, so when we have the wish to regard someone as our guru or as our lamas or as our spiritual teachers, and then we listen teachings from the teachers. So we have the wish to regard someone as a guru. Then we listen teachings of one verse from this guru. Then the guru-disciple relationship has established, or the teachers has become your guru.
Oh, that listen to Kanda. That Siji Nathan Kanda Lama Chatare, Injimi Lama Chala, so Peshabaina, Lari Chimbo, Sachida, Ganji, the dangerous to the Depression Mambuji, but the Machina Lama Machat, the Dikisha, yes, that the Mandala Kanda, so Tende is a Siji, in years and the Lama Chatare, Dichazadi, I want Kanda, Telochia Yomare, that's what the Lama Muzimachia Yomare, yes, you would.
Yeah. So in order for a teacher to become your guru or your lamas, then it doesn't require receiving a lot of teachings from the teachers. Like for example, you go through one Lamrim Chenmo with the teachers, or you received the Kangyu and Tengyu from the teachers. It doesn't need to receive many teachings on many texts in order for the teachers to become your guru. So if you have the wish to regard someone as your guru, so just receive teachings of one verse, then that teachers has become your guru or your lamas already. And once the teachers has become your guru, and you should not lose faith in the guru.
That the Pishani Kanda, Susuke Lama Tendi, Kunela, Indi Susuke Chuni, Sichichina, Karina, Nebaina, Roa, that Susuke Lama, send the double Pisha, that send the Tegala Susuke, the Lama de Lama de Latino Chebina, that says Shima Tegala water, says Shimanima, the Chewa Gene, that Indi Lane, but taking Debide, and the Gene, Bama Cheba, Chi, Gene, Bama Cheba, Jatamatri. Yes, wow. I am just Chichiwa Chilla Chichiwalin, Yanja Matuni, Yanja Chilla Chiwalia, or the Yanja have to Chilla Chialia. They want to do Jatamba Lesas are Yesu Takanda.
So we'll be born among dogs 100 times. So once we have the wish to regard someone as our guru or lamas, then we listen the teachings of one verse from them. Then the guru disciple relationship has established. Then, like for example, if you were to lose faith in the guru, so after these lives, so in next life onwards, so uninterruptedly, then we will be born as a dog for 100 times. So uninterruptedly. So next rebirth, then we were born as a dog, and then we as a dog, then we die, then again we born as a dog, so 400 times.
That in the chi that chi because that's the Geshu to start county yoma that kind of that is low don't talk as single by another Geshu to start that you see chi yoma. That's not going to be managed to see chi yoma.
Yeah, so once we are born as a dog, then there is no way there is no possibility, or there is no way for us to practice virtue. So there is no opportunity to practice listening, contemplation, and meditation.
That the Kanda, Tindi Lambaina,
Kondas Kari Bacha.
that Michua English Pasharoa, Michua English Pasha Momoshadioa, that the Digila Chin Chene, Yanja Milia Chua Limbaino, that Ching about the Sultan, Kanda, not to change the children. So be Lama the Petelo Jaggy, the Digi laying in Bassa, the Digi chain, the Digi chains, the military chain, the Chevre, Chiva the Cheba Mazit. Ringamba, Mesha Lilapa, Chiwani, yes, what I don't dribble nomination, dribble, Kumia, Sama, meet you, Marwa. What that Mesha is the ones Shemba, Ringamba, that person just saw Chinky, Yasini, the Sini, the Nipe, the Shemba Chit, the Lia Chiwalana, yes, that the digital Chiwalana, that can be used. Yanja Sheba Jindy dribble, Chatare, Yanja Kona. Doing Yanja, now and Lemon Basal. That there was a civil, the Yanja be no Tonta Mambo, ya doing no less on watch. Well, that Nipe never such a much.
So then we were born as a dog for 100 times. So after we experience these results, then we haven't finished experiencing the result of this negative karma yet. And then even if we born as a human, then we were born as a human of the low caste. So born as a low caste, and such as butchers, such as born as a fisherman, born as a being who engaged in killing a lot of animals and etc. So born as a being of low caste. So when we born as a low caste, and then we engage in those the butchers activities or fishermen or kill a lot of animals, then again we will because of while we are experiencing these results of the negative karma of disparaging masters, then one part of it is we are experiencing the causally concordant behavioral results again. So the results similar to the cause in behavior. So we again start to then while we are born as butchers, fishermen, and etc., then we again create a negative karma. Its result is to be experienced in the lower rebirths. So this is a heavy negative karma.
That is also the that dila Kanda the Shinis were the things of the Abuja Majuba and Najitapari Hishuyo, the Shini things to pay so Chidal Chatchabama, Chabanashi, and Dimajiba, Tachi Abuchibure, Roa, Sushu, Chuji Shigins and Lansakuro, Shini Lamating by Yomari, Cochedo with the kitchen, Chunin and Duburas Roa, Chunin and Dubure, so Kitchen Moshidari, the Shini Tsuki the Peba and Pian Lab Chimotaji, Putu Shibanaji, Pian Lab Chimoyaba. That Etaji Mandi Bachibana, the Hachang never such a Moshiburido, never such a Moshiburido. Or the Shinichi Mate Baina, Susula Toba in the Kanachi to Mari. 마티 마이나 땡고 네버지 마티 마이나 뜻으로 지라 또 봐인데 가야 두고 말이지 하여튼 와서 쇼는 여러 와 또 봐인데 두고 말이지 와
Yeah, so when we talk about guru devotions or regard someone as our lamas or guru, so I mentioned it many times already, saying we should not act like a dog meeting or seeing a piece of meat, that we should not jump into it right away. So we have to take time and go through examinations and checking as well. So then when we can still continue to receive Dharma teachings we can receive Dharma teachings from them with regarding them as our Dharma friends. Yeah, so we can regard the Dharma teachers as a Dharma friends, then we receive Dharma teachings from them. So it's not necessary to straight away, and it's also not proper to straight away regard a Dharma teachers as our lamas. So when you receive Dharma teachings from them, then you immediately regard that Dharma teachers as your guru. So without without checking or examining, then this is not a proper way. So, and we have to take time to check and see whether the Dharma teachers is qualified spiritual friends or spiritual teachers or not. So if the teachers is a qualified one, then we regard them as our guru. Then you properly rely on them. Then you will receive the benefits as mentioned. So if you do not, if you regard someone as your guru, however, your way of relying on them is wrong, not proper, then you will receive the consequences, the negative consequences as mentioned just now as well. So if we then you might think that then I don't want to regard any Dharma teachers as my spiritual friends or gurus. Then this is also not a proper way as well, because if you do not regard a qualified one as your spiritual friends or teachers, then there is no way you could develop realizations and good qualities in your mind. So we still need to regard qualified Dharma teachers as our spiritual friends, and the need to regard a qualified one as our spiritual friends is mentioned in the scriptures.
Yunde Saba Jia Yunde Jie Chanjo Ya Compare the Roya Ma Manyang but the Yutu Mares, a Gishiniji, so the kitchen was dare, no Yunde to Manubaina, so Jula, Yunde Toya, two symbols of the Compendoya, Ma Manyamachi. What that the Lee is Roa, or the Lee, the Gishiniji, Zachimu, those Chinese Roa. Kanda mati baina susula yendi chi tu mare toba kumbenjua ya mare wa wo di tanda kili songu da khatundu wa.
Yeah. So apart from that, excellent qualities that have not a reason do not arise, and those that have a reason deteriorate and vanish. So it's still we still need to regard a qualified Dharma teacher as our spiritual friends or lamas. So by relying on them, then we will produce the qualities. We will newly produce the qualities that we have not developed before, and we will cause those developed qualities to increase more and more, and not to deteriorate. So this shows how important and how precious to properly to regard a qualified Dharma teachers as a guru and properly rely on them.
The reason that also she needs the tools as well. But she needs the kitchen of the that we translate the choose issue to others.
Yeah, so this is about relying on the spiritual friends. So I would like to ask you a question so that you will remember these teachings in your mind better remember this point.
That's she needs the Loma de la Kanda, Loma Radilla, you think I think Loma de Gishini, so you do think a Loma de Loma Radilla, you think I think some Read the condition some Loma Mata, 타마들라 같이 성공도지 아무 디지셔이 저좀뭐 지도 따먹고 발랑사 카투로지나 카투지라셨어. 네 카투지라셨어.
And so the question is a disciple or a student who rely on the Dharma teachers, who rely on the spiritual teachers. So are of three types, right? So the first, the excellent type of students or the excellent characteristics, and the moderate characteristics and the lesser characteristics of the students. So what are those characteristics? So there are three types. So what are the characteristics of those what are the characteristics for those three types of students? So without looking at your notes, so try to give me the answer.
Okay, I try to answer it. This cell here.
로마로 하기라 된다. 로마식으로. Yeah, please.
Okay. First one is impartial or unbiased. Second one is intelligence.
Diligent.
Third one.
Intelligence. Intelligence. Sorry.
Intelligence. Yes. And then the third one is perseverance or effort. Okay, these are the three main ones. Then there are also another two for the mediums characteristic of the students. The first one is having respect to the Dharma teaching and also the one who expound the teachings. And then the second one is listen intensively during the teaching. That's for the medium characteristic. And for the third one, the lesser characteristic, it is at least you have faith in the guru. You have the faith in the gurus. It's either in the body, speech, and mind. So for the body is you will be delight in the guru's bodies, and the second one is you have the conviction in the guru's speech, and then the third one is you have longing or yearning in the guru's mind. I think that's for the third or the lesser characteristic of the student. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so Loma Rabgi Tsengi Deina, any tambo the Kaza Sune, any day Lotan Demba, any day Sumba de Kaza Jundu Zumbachera, and the Kaza Jingi Tsena, the Chutang Chumawala, Kubacheba Tang, Chu Kaza Dan same dimne in Yemba, Lord dimne in Yemba. The Tam Mata Gi Tseni Kasa Lamala, and the Chumawala, Deva Yuba, and the Lamagi Kusung Tula, Deva Yuba Che, and the Kula, the Tangwe Deva Tang, Sungla, Ichiki Deva Tang, the Simgi Yundendi, Kasa Dumbe, Angundergi, Gonda Angundergi Deva Che.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
yeah, well said.
Yeah, also Lamrim read la, also Lamala Deva Yabamasi, Lamrim read la Deva Yabamasi, Dendi, 연디스 또니 또에게 니버도 된 것이. 하고 최년비 니버스는 지고 다 지나고 최 스테이지 니버스로 와. 어떤 니버여 것이. 근데 또에게 니버도 된 것이.
또에게 니버스한테 그래서 최긴 되는데로.
이게 최기 때다. 이게 뭐서 체니스 뭐 되지가 체니스 뭐 상우야. 상 만상바이나 대 상우야 된다. 니버도 신 것이.
체니스 뭐로.
니버도 된 것이.
된 거.
어디 여보시오 라스스
Yeah, so regarding so well said, Geshe-la said. So, and regarding the the moderate characteristics of the students. So, besides besides respect and having faith in the teachers and the teachings, then you said listen attentively to teachings, right? So, yeah, this is quite similar to having the ability to understand the meaning. So, the meaning. Mainly, the meaning refers to the three characteristics of the students, as mentioned, for the best characteristics. Then they understand the meaning, and then they have the Tönko Atainiti Kazunuba Yobara. Tönko Nuba. Tito Nuba. Yeah. Oh yeah, so they have the ability to understand the meaning of these three characteristics of the students.
Very good, thank you so much. Second question.
Yeah, so then this is not the reason lessons, is in the beginning of the teachings. So when we listen to teachings, then we have to abandon the unconducive conditions of three faults of vessels, and then we also have to accomplish the conducive conditions of generating 6 perceptions. So now you tell me, again, without looking at your notes, now you tell me what are these 3 faults of vessels?
Well, you have to go very quiet.
Others can answer.
Yeah.
3 fault of vessel, I think many can answer because we asked in the exam, in the test quiz. Certainly
vessel,
answer
the leaking vessel, overturned vessel, and dirty vessel.
Yeah, no, you can show me that the cover by your chair, and the Niba de Tima and Gravada, and it is Sumba de Chateau.
Thank you. Oh, indeed, numbers of caress.
And what? And what are the antidotes to these 3 faults?
Listen.
Tail on the
I heard you flipping the page. Without looking at your notes.
Listen attentively, listen well, and keep it in the mind.
Yeah. Yeah, did someone change into vision? Because Yeah, so the answers, these phrases are quote from a sutras, yeah, so it's not a long phrase. Yeah, I think there's someone taking me to. Yeah, someone taking me to. Ini di tata lapsong. Ini tambo ina ang di kasayang same team ni niya tang. Ini tin ni bala kasa listen attentively, keep in mind. Yeah, ini di ni ba di ini di nyabo niyan ba jie. Listen attentively, well. And keep in mind, right? Yeah. So any the niba de any the Japonia mache any the sumba de simla shaba. Ila shaba.
Oh, good.
Geshe-la, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Since Geshe-la, sorry Geshe-la to interrupt you. I'm just trying to find out if a student inadvertently, early in their practice, maybe over enthusiasm or excitement, they have inadvertently accepted somebody as their root guru, as a lama, and then upon further examination found the guru to be, for example, not conducive to the practice, and then the student politely moves away in order to to practice. What can a student do in a form of purification to avert any of the consequences that the Geshe-la was talking about just now?
That's what Geshe-la. Yang Loma, because Loma ina the chu ching the way na the tambo ni the chu tambo chi ga la ni zang zong la yang Lama the way na because yang gigen the tu xie ni the ga cha ni yang simple ki cha ni yang the because daji mambo ma cheba any the Lama tu cheba res Lama the ji ba res any the Lama the ji ne Lama tu che ne any the tang du shine the daji che any the daji che ne the Lama the because it's not my device. Any the cinema device, any the jela, Kale, any the Katani device. Any Kasa Nyamle, Nyamli Karichi to is any the Tiba, the Tagi Chetu. To near the Manuagi Chetu, Karichi.
So, Dilla never saw Maresco. Lama, that's Susu Tambo, Ninga Hamawone to see. The Chinachina Hakoba Jengurua. Ganda de Lamatilla Susugi Kataya Yomaris. Rua Kataya Yomari, Susu Lama Chasa is. Kataya Yomari. Kataya Yomari, the Lamagi, Chugi, Tsuta Madiba, Chu Nayanda, Kicheshia, Tichumbaina, Dio Susugi killing by Yomaris. Kimalina never chigumaris. Kimalina never chigumaris. You know, some Dokana Yoris Rua. Chu Maima Mana Doba shows jail lingering was jail lingering. So Susuki Chanjus with Tombada, Susuki Tombada, a Chuta Mudimba Tendigi, Talama said that Dimba Mina Tendi, Kandisha, the Sula, Niabado, Tani Chebumaris, nearby New Yomaris. In Newmaris, Demani Baina, Lamag, Katan Gewata, Nieba Sandra, Sawani Humaris. Katan Gewa. Katan Gewa Humaris, Lama Tuta, and Ketan Katan Gewata, Susan Nebasa, the Sawani Humaris.
Nebasa Yomara. Yeah, so in general, of course, I have to tell how important it is to rely on a guru after we check and after we go through the examinations. Yeah, so we should knowingly regard someone as our guru. So, however, in this case, so the persons or the students do not accumulate negativities. So after you regard someone as your guru, then if you find out later that this guru is not so qualified, for example, then however, you should not criticize the teachers as well. So you should not criticize, and if you do not criticize the teachers, then you do not accumulate negativities. So, and like when they give advice that is not in accordance with the Dhamma teachings, like for example, that is against the Bodhisattva vows, then it's not necessarily that we must accomplish what the teachers or Lama says. And when we do not accomplish as the teacher says, that is against the Bodhisattva vows, for example, then we do not create negativities or faults. Then, so we do not create any negativities or faults.
Lama Gomba in a Kayomar, Bonchugua, that Kanda de Lama said that Dimba Mayuma Sunza, that Korangipina, Lamdi, the Chishia, that the Digi Misiki, Suda Matiba, the Kandisha, de Susugi, Kadi Madubaina, 디 네바 사우요 말에 대가서 도와다 군주적인 도다 무슨 도 가시라 요랬고
나 도와다
군주적인 도 군주적인 도 다들 제일 리그레스 손은 제일 리그레스 그래서 사만을 요랬어 그래서 문티바데가 샤와 걸리시에바이나 대낭시 제스 보고 말했어 이 제스 보고 대 만원에 네바 사우요 말했어 디 기가마다 간다 대로진에 카타야 맘디 네바 되게 사고다스 대로네 라바체다 데바 윤디다 데바지 메바이나 딜라 컷 자원이 다야마 대로 자원이 제야마스 이노 다 제스 수수게 수만나시 연다데 마두바이나 디 네바 사고 말했어 네바게 사고야 말했어
야,当用下下呢，的团队的个人的
看嘛当巴去
看嘛当嘛，当用下的咯。
你可能被看嘛当巴去，当巴送去学是马去巴去。下下你就不认识。
Yeah, so I say since the teachers, like for example, is not a qualified teachers, then you should not criticize or scold the teachers as well. So you can just leave him as it is. So leave him. So just leave him aside. In so the meaning of this is you do not receive teachings from that unqualified teachers. Then if you do not criticize or scold the teachers, then you do not create negativities. Then So also when an unqualified teachers they ask you to do some things, they advise you or they give instruction to you to do some things that is against, like for example, the vows, then it's not necessarily to follow the instructions, and by not following the instructions you do not create negativities. And this is mentioned in the Vinaya text, and also mentions in the Clouds of Jewels sutras as well. So this we will come to it later. Then however, we should not lose faith in the teachers and then criticize and scold them.
Thank you, Krishna.
Stop here.
Yeah.
이 장리 유튜브를 된다. 내야 저 파도보다 많도도 무기라서 그래서 뭐요 체리가 비슷한 거지.
We'll conclude with dedication. We dedicate the roots of virtue accumulated, especially to this Dharma teaching session. So maybe the complete course for the Buddha Dharma to flourish in all 10 directions. And we also dedicate these merits for all sentient beings to have happiness. We also dedicate these roots of virtue to all upholders of Buddha's teachings. So may they live very long, and then may their holy wishes be instantaneously accomplished. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue for the world peace, and may happiness prevail the world. May the world be free of natural disasters, free of such as famine, flood, and be free of war and conflict, and free of the pandemic.
Dāgī jīnyē sābī gīwā nī tīndāng dōwā gūnlā kāmbē nā gīwā jīsū lōsāng chāpā yī tīmbē nīmbō rīndō sē jī shōy sēm chō rīmbō jī māngyē pānā kī gyū jī gīwā nyāmbā mē pā yāng gō nē bō dāng dōwā shōy bā wē jī dā kē mā dāng dōndō sāmbē tē yāng tē shīn tē tē dā kū kī jī sō dā lō jī gīwā tē dā dāng jī rāb dō ngōy dā wā rīmbō jī māngyē pānā kī gyū jī gīwā nyāmbā nyamba me ba yang kone kondo be wa sho tawa rinpoche ma ke pa na ki kyu ji ke ba nyamba me ba yang kone kondo be wa sho jamshin jamgyu ge we den zi kyu be we kun su to bo ze chu su ku we le me tu chu ba da zo tu je gen do sha de sho yin je sun do ju be lang chi ze se ze kan je den de gen cha na be mo den zen ga zo la so de zo xie de gen do sho kan de ben de ma le ba kan de ju sang de yi xin no ka de su me den zen ga zo la so de zo ju je gen do sho we ko we xin kan de ben dang de wa ma lu jung we ne jie re se wang den zen ga zo we sha pe si de ba do den gyu ji.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
you,
you,
Geshe-la.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.